Hi, this is Nick Williams and Mark Shaw.
Hi everybody, still drinking the same tea as before?
Yeah. We wanted to talk just for a couple of minutes about this whole area of kind of expertise, because I think expertise has almost become like a devalued currency these days, because everyone's claiming expertise. So it's almost possible, I think, to throw the baby out with the bathwater and not trust anybody these days. And yet I know personally that when I've been in the presence of what I would call a true expert, somebody who's kind of ploughed been through a territory and has learnt a lot and then has taught me, they have saved me so much time, so much heartache, and helped me overcome obstacles and do things much more strategically. So how do you differentiate, I suppose the question is, how do you differentiate the armchair experts who don't really know what they're talking about from the true experts? What are your thoughts on
that? Well, I think, from a Twitter perspective, because they're coming out the woodwork every day, there's more experts and so on, is to look at what baggage they have in the sense of how credible they are to say they're an expert. Okay, so for example, is it the sort of situation where they have a business that they've been doing very well and they just bolted on something else literally 5 minutes ago? Okay, I wouldn't then say they're an expert. Okay, have they got testimonials on their site from people who have experienced their training, their workshops, their knowledge, their books, their whatever? That to me is a great indication of people having the visibility, demonstrating that, and then people saying, you know what, I actually do think they're an expert. So, and I think finally, advocates, finding people who've experienced what that person's saying they're doing, and asking them, did they really know what they say, and so on. But I think, I'm a great believer in, I don't think you can really be an expert in something until you've tried it, done it, furrowed the way, made some mistakes, learned from it, and that allows you to then be an expert and advise other people.
I quite like the definition that an expert is somebody who's made all the mistakes that are possible in a very small area.
Exactly.
That would probably cover you then.
You've
made all the mistakes.
I've been on Twitter now.
All the mistakes about setting up my own business.
Exactly. 19 months of trying, making errors, been suspended. Had all sorts of things happen to me. But now I'd like to think that I do know what I'm doing. I walk the walk. I talk the talk. There's nothing worse than these so-called people turning up. They claim, that they do, to do this or to do that. And then when you ask them, well, what results did they get doing it? Or how they got on with it? They don't know because they haven't done it themselves. So, always try and listen to people who physically have done it. I know from your own situation, you were working in corporate life and you started your own business.
Yeah. So I've done it and I've helped literally hundreds, if not thousands of other people to do the same thing. So yeah, this whole idea of credibility, and I also think I just want to add a dimension, because you can look at all that stuff and all that can be useful. I think I would also encourage people just to trust their gut, trust their intuition. Somebody can have all the ticks in the boxes, but if you see a video of theirs or an audio of theirs and somehow they don't seem congruent, trust that they're not congruent. Trust your gut, trust your cart, if you like, trust your intuition. Because I've tried to override that a number of times and got burned. So I've also had people kind of watch my videos or audios and stuff, but something about it, I just felt like I could trust you.
Yes.
And I don't think you can build up trust other than by being trustworthy.
Well, here's the thing.
There's no shortcut to building up trust.
Well, there is. I mean, we've talked about in other videos, turning up, showing up, being authentic, being genuine. Okay, you can only do that if you've sort of done it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you haven't, it's very difficult to be authentic. I'll give you a very good example. I was speaking to someone a few days ago that was promoting a video series on how to get the best out of Twitter, and I said to him, "Great, I think the series is okay. How long have you been on Twitter?" And he said, "Well, I haven't started yet." So I went, "Okay, how have you acquired the knowledge?" And he said, "That's not me in the video. That's not me. What it is I've acquired a license to sell someone else's product. So that's not me. I'm not on Twitter, and I just think it sounds great." And I thought to myself, okay, but there's no credibility.
That's the armchair expert.
That's the armchair
theory, but you
exactly.
don't know any of it in practice.
Exactly.
So we're encouraging people to really ask some good questions. Actually, there's a blog post of mine if people want to look on my blog, but I've kind of identified what I call the 7 pillars of personal credibility.
Okay.
So how do you search for somebody's credibility? And obviously it's things like past results, testimonials, how they're showing up, but also their character. Who are they as a person? Do you really trust them as a person? Have they have they made the mistakes and therefore you trust that they know what they're talking about? So do your homework, trust your gut, and try them out on small scale and see whether it works before you perhaps invest big trust in somebody.
I think that list is fabulous, and I think perhaps there's one more thing to add that, which I think you demonstrate, and I'd like to think I demonstrate as well, is stepping up to the plate, being a leader. Okay, I think one of the things that's important is that there comes a point where you feel you know enough information, and rather than just saying this is what that person thinks, this is what this person thinks, you create your own opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think? I want to know what Nick Williams thinks about setting up a business.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to know what Mark Shaw thinks about Twitter and about following and all this sort of stuff. So step up to the plate, act like a leader, act like it's somebody that you'd want to ask questions for. So you need to have an opinion on everything.
Yeah, and have the courage of your experience and convictions in a way. I know I was coaching somebody recently who works in an academic environment, and she wanted to write her own first little book. And she did a little draft of just the first 20 or 30 pages. But everything she wrote was referring to other people's research and other people's work. And I said, my challenge to you is to write this in your own words, without dishonouring everybody else, but find your own voice. And it's almost like she keeled over and had a heart attack when I said it. Because for many people, owning their own voice is a real challenge. But I think that, again, is what the world is hungry for, is for people to, as you say, step up to the plate, be leaders, have their own opinion, have their own voice, have their own experience, and know that they're not perfect and that they're still learning.
Correct.
But don't hide out by pretending you don't know enough yet. And I think a lot of people get caught up in, I don't know enough yet to be a
Well,
leader.
here's the thing as well. Just because you're an expert doesn't mean I know everything. There are things about Twitter that I don't know. I'm sure there's things about business and
Yeah,
that
I'm
we
learning
don't
every
know.
day.
People ask me questions. Sometimes I don't know the answer, but then I go and find the answer. So I'm not pretending I know everything, but I do know an awful lot more than most people. I'm sure you do as well.
And one of the things I talk about, and I think it's crucial for us if we're going to step into any kind of leadership or expert role, is all expertise is relative, and it's relative to your audience.
Okay.
So, relative to somebody who's never started their own business, who's only ever had a job, I'm an expert. Relative to somebody who's been self-employed for 50 years, I'm probably not an expert, because they know more than I do. So it's always relative to your audience. To somebody who's never been on Twitter before and wants to know how to engage with it and cross that threshold, you're the expert. Relative to the guys who founded Twitter, you're probably not the expert.
Yeah, great.
So
yeah,
it's always relative to our own audience. So you can know a little bit, but if you know more than your audience, to them you're an expert. But to me, true experts are always learning more. They're always getting to know more. They're always increasing their knowledge. So they don't stay stuck. They're always evolving.
Excellent. Well, so if there's one top tip from this little video, is pick your experts with care. Do your due diligence on them and what people have been saying about them. And this is Nick and Mark signing off.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. (8 minutes).